It's great having you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. Today, we're going to talk about teaching your child what to do when it goes wrong. You know, something's always going wrong, right? The car breaks down, the dishwasher isn't working, the refrigerator stops. In fact, last year, a few weeks before Christmas, my friend's fridge totally went out. I mean, completely, absolutely. It had electricity, so the lights would come on, but it was about 80 degrees inside that fridge. You know, a couple weeks before Christmas, it isn't very fun. I can tell you, I went on vacation once with my kids, my sister, and my niece, and we were about 2 hours away from home, and the car broke down, as in really broke down because it was in the old days and the engine threw a rod. We ended up in this strange town, which was not where we meant to spend our vacation, for 8 days. Things go wrong. It is a really lame excuse when you tell it to the teacher and you're lying, but it's a bummer when the dog actually gets a hold of your homework and tears up your paper and you worked on it for how long? Or my personal biggest bummer, you'd be working away on the computer for hours, you think you saved it. This is in the days before autosave, of course. And then you hit this button with your little finger and poof, the entire thing goes away. And you're spitting and sputtering and breaking stuff and throwing stuff and yeah, having a fit. But you know what? It's still gone. Yeah. I mean, things go wrong all the time. Let's be real. Kids are drinking at the table and you say, don't put it too close to the edge. And it's like, and you never knew how much territory one small glass of milk could actually cover. Things go wrong. What do you do when things go wrong? Well, it's a very, very important thing to teach your child. Oh, and if you're struggling, like I was much of my life, especially as a younger person, probably till I was 40 something, I kept struggling with this. Yourself. Help yourself with this one as well as your child. So my challenge question of the day is, what do I usually do when things go wrong? Right? So if you're like, oh man, what a bummer, and then you just approach it calmly, good for you, because I'm amazed, okay? That's not my real reaction ever. If you're one of these people who is more like me and you spit and sputter and say bad words and break stuff and throw stuff and just generally have a fit for a little while, which is pretty unproductive, I must say. And a lot of times you don't feel better afterwards. That's kind of what finally got me to stop doing such foolishness because, like, it didn't help anything. Sometimes it only made the mess worse. And yeah, you understand what I'm saying. What do you do when things go wrong? All right. So here's what you have to learn, and here's what you're going to help your child learn. 1. Things go wrong. Write it down. Put it in your head. Stick it somewhere on the fridge. Just get it straight. Things go wrong. Then you're not going to be bent out of shape or so surprised or, oh, poor little me, I can't believe it, this happened to me. Things happen to everybody. Everybody in the world eventually gets a flat tire. You don't need to run out of gas, but I hate to tell you that with some people it's a perpetual thing. Your kid leaves his stuff somewhere and it was his favorite, and oh my word, he doesn't even know where he left it. Or you drop your phone and it hits just right at the edge of the coffee table and smatters into a million people's like pieces, and you just got that phone, for pity's sake, and it costs hundreds and hundreds of bucks. Yeah, things go wrong. Number 1, get it straight in your brain and in your heart. Things go wrong because you know what? When we expect something, when we recognize something as usual, I didn't say normal, when we recognize something as it's going to happen to everyone, then we're not so bent out of shape. It just helps our attitude. So, 1, things go wrong. I can't overemphasize this point, okay? I don't know where you've been living in some little fairy tale world if you don't know this one, but it helps a lot to just stick it in your brain so that when they do go wrong, instead of freaking, you're like, okay, yeah, things go wrong. Number 2, you can handle it. Okay? This is what you teach your child. You can handle it. Now, you make this big mess in the kitchen and you start cleaning it up and you're like, yeah, I'm going to have to tell this to mom because I can't handle it by myself, which is number 3. Sometimes you need help. Really, even as adults. I can change a tire. I can jack up my car. I can do a lot of things. Even after my broken arm, there are still things I can do, but I generally won't. I mean, I'm a 5 foot tall kind of little chickie, right? Why would I do that? I'm going to stick something out by the side of my road, put up the hood of my car, and wait for some stronger woman or big guy to come along and help me jack up my car. Just because I can doesn't mean I have to. So you can get help. All right, so you can do it. Your dog ate your homework. What a bummer, dude. You got to do it again. I mean, for real. Unless it was an assignment sheet, then you have to get on, I can't remember what that's called right this minute, but lots of kids have it on the computer where you get your homework assignments, communicate with the teacher. Say, yeah, my dog really did eat my homework. I know it's kind of weird, but he got into my book bag and chewed up a bunch of other stuff too. And my homework was one of those things. I need another copy of that worksheet, so it might not be in tomorrow, and my mom will write me an excuse. See, you're handling it. You can do it. You're communicating with the person. You make this gigantic mess in the kitchen. You were taking a jar of something out of the fridge and you dropped it. Oh, pickles, my favorite, because it stays in the kitchen, that smell, for like a month. And it goes all over the place. And you're like, oh man, all this glass and all this vinegar juice, and I got to get some help. So I can do it, but I got to have help too. You're like, Mom or Dad. And someone comes in there and they may or may not be a little bit cranky because you weren't even supposed to be in the fridge because it's not really snack time. You get the picture. So you help your child understand. You can do it. It may not be comfortable. It may not be fun. It might take certain amounts of steps to come to a solution of taking care of what went wrong, but you can do it. And then you get help. For real. It's okay. We can't do everything ourselves. All right. And then, if in fact you were doing something that contributed to it or actually created the problem, you need to take responsibility. This is what a kid really needs to get. Okay, I was supposed to have my book bag hanging up on this peg on my wall or on the back of my door. Instead, I just threw it on the ground wide open. Why did the dog eat my homework? And oh, why did the dog chew the edge of my iPad? I didn't do what I was supposed to. Why did the cat pee on my towel in the corner? Oh, because my towel was in the corner, not hanging up in the bathroom where it belonged. Why can't I find my shoes? Oh, because I didn't put my shoes where they belong, next to the door on the mat. What do you know? And us as adults, we also have to take responsibility. Why did my engine blow up? Oh, because nobody checked the oil and it was 2 quarts short. So it wasn't getting lubricated correctly on the inside. And what do you know? It blew a rod. That would be my story from that vacation that my sister and I were going on. I didn't even know about checking the oil back then, but my husband didn't check it. No sense in blaming him. So I learned to check things, and that's what I'm saying. Take responsibility. Let's make it a little tougher. Okay, things go wrong. Your child's 15 years old and he's smoking dope on the side with his friends. And suddenly he gets arrested and you get this call in the middle of the night and your kid's in custody. Yeah, you can have a fit. I mean, I'm not denying to you that this is horrible and traumatic and difficult and challenging and saddening and angering. I get all of that. But you need to know that things go wrong, recognize that you can deal with this, get some help, and take responsibility. If I'd been paying more attention, because I kind of noticed things were a little squirrely, or gee, I never even noticed because I've been so busy with this big project at work. Take responsibility. Sometimes you almost have to go backwards there. Find out who's going to need to help you. You probably need a lawyer, but then you really need to talk to your child. And if you can't, then you get a pastor or a counselor or someone involved because there's something going on with this kid. And what is it? And how can I help them? And recognize you can do it. You say, man, I never dreamt that my kid would get involved with something like this. Well, I believe you. I really do. That is most people's response. And yet, you can do it. You can handle it. You can help your child through it. So you have to illustrate to them by your example that what you do when things go wrong is you try your best to stay calm. And I want to assure you that the more often you stay calm and the more diligently you work at applying this skill in your life, like, okay, it went badly and my normal response is blah, blah, blah. And you take a breath. And if necessary, you take another breath. And if necessary, you take a third breath. And then you're going to approach it a little more calmly. So you're learning, not the first time or the 10th, but to be a little calmer when things go wrong. And after a while, you find out, okay, I can be calm even when things go wrong. So you're showing this by illustration, by example to your child, and you're helping your child. Okay, so your child comes home from school. She's in this complete meltdown because something went so wrong at school today and she's coming unglued. Okay, so you can discuss this with her. You know, honey, I can really tell you're upset. The calmer you stay, don't engage with all of her emotional blah, blah, blah. Because you know, two upset people doesn't really accomplish much. It's better for you to be calm. Not unconcerned, but calm. You know, honey, I can really tell how much this is upsetting you. I'm sure I would be upset too. That was horrible. I'm not going to give you a specific example because with some kids, almost everything can be a problem. And you have to decide as a parent what really is and what really isn't. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so you say to her, I'm really sorry. That was really hard. I can tell that. But you know what? You can handle this. What do you think is a good way to handle it? Most kids, 7, 8, 9, if they've even had training in this, they might have an idea or two. They might be a little off the wall to you, but listen to them. Or they might say, I have no idea, Mom. If I knew, I would have done it. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, well, let's see if we can figure out some things. And talk really calmly about the emotional state. You're upset, you're angry, you have hurt feelings. I see all of that. But you know what? We can do this. I will be glad to help you. So they know they can handle it and they know you're going to be there to support them. Don't fix it for them if you don't need to. I mean, some kids beating the living daylights out of them 5 days in a row on the way home from school. Yeah, you might need to do something about that. It's just a little tiff between friends, or they did really badly on a particular test, or someone said something mean, or they fell down in gym and embarrassed themselves in front of the whole entire class. Yeah, they can do that. They can work through that. They don't need you to babysit them and be a helicopter parent and oh, no, they don't need that. They need to learn they can handle it and help them handle it and give them emotional support while they are. And then get them to take responsibility. If they did something, if they actually didn't study and they did badly on the test, you can honestly say to them, "Well, how much did you study?" "I didn't have time. I had practice. I had this. I had that." Okay, well, you know what? Then talk to me. Did you have any part in what happened? Yeah, I know. I should have studied. Okay. So learn the lesson, which is number 5. Learn the lesson. Do you know what? All of us have things go wrong, and when we actually had responsibility in it, then we learn the lesson instead of denying it and having 4 billion excuses. And oh my goodness, we learn the lesson. So the next time that comes up, we go, oh yes, I'm not going to repeat that behavior. I might have to go to practice, but I'm still going to stay up an extra hour late, and I'm going to study because the last time I did not. I did really badly on that test. And I'm going to make sure that I don't forget my gym shoes because the reason I tripped and fell and looked like an idiot in front of everybody is I didn't have on the right shoes. You know, you learn the lesson, so you do it differently the next time. All right, so here you have this child and they are just, coming unglued and it's not a good day and they're really struggling. And it was something someone else did and they need you to intervene. As a parent, you need to intervene as calmly and as minimally as possible. And when you can, take the child along. So I've shared this one before, but I'm going to share it again. My kids were not allowed to take sex ed. This is in the days when a parent could say no, and the child was supposed to be taken out of the classroom. But my son went in there, and the things that he came home and told me. We both went to the school. We walked into Bob Lehman's office, their principal, and I said, Bob, let me tell you what happened today. Actually, better yet, I'm going to have David tell you. And he did. And Bob's eyes got like this big. And I said, yeah, I already know you know where this is going. Because he's not allowed in sex ed. He knows a great deal more about sex than you people are going to tell him, but with a moral background, because I've been telling him since he was 3. But he's not allowed in there, and you messed up. I would like you to tell me what you're going to do about this. I was about this calm. Maybe my voice was a little bit louder, I'll grant you, because I was pretty upset. But my son was there. He saw me handle it. And I handled it, and that was it. I didn't keep going back to the school, riding anybody, writing notes to the teacher and the superintendent. No, I handled it. My son saw it. I handled it with the minimum amount of force and action that I needed to. Because then your child says, okay, when things go wrong and someone's going to help me, they're not going to embarrass the daylights out of me by acting like a fool. So I don't want to tell them. And they're going to take care of it. I can trust them and depend on them to support me and stand with me. That's a great message that you want your children to have. So here's what I want you to know. When things go wrong, you can handle it. When things go wrong with your children, they can handle it. And that's the message of the day. Things go wrong, you can handle it. I hope this video has been really, really helpful to you because, oh my stars, I can tell you in the last 24 hours about 5 major things have gone wrong. You notice I have on no makeup and no jewelry. It's like, yes, honey, things do go wrong. And what are you going to do about that? You're going to handle that. You're going to be graceful. You're going to be a good example to your children. You're going to teach your children that even when things go wrong with them, they can handle it too. And in the end, hopefully, they're even going to learn something from it. I really appreciate you being with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with your friends. Feel free to leave me a comment or a question. And I will see you again soon. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.